Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Renu. For those who are new to this channel, I'm not an immigration consultant. However, I've worked with immigration industry for more than 3 years. So whatever the queries you have, I would make sure to answer it in a professional way, and I would be referring all the information to the guidelines being set by the IRCC on cic.gc.ca website. Today, my topic of discussion would be open work permit, and it is just not the announcement since I've already covered that in my previous video, the latest update on open work permit new update. So whatever the guidelines I've already discussed today, I'm going to reiterate at the same time the most awaited thing. A lot of people have confusion. Yes, so I'm going to talk about each and everything in detail, step by step, how to fill the application forms from the perspective of a candidate who is not just married, but in case if you have a spouse, how you have to fill the application for your spouse and for your family members. This is the application for your spouse, and then she also or he has to fill the family information. So these are the four forms we will be talking in detail afterwards. For those who have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to it. My agenda is to provide you with the immigration information free of cost through this channel, and I have covered a lot on PNP and other programs. These days, I'm focusing more on TR to PR because of various reasons. So today, I'll be covering on open work permits. So let's quickly dive into it. For this, you need to have IRCC secure account. That's a mandatory requirement. So before that, let's quickly dive into the IRCC guidelines. So this work permit issued under this policy is actually valid until December 31st, 2022. IRCC says you can apply up to 4 months before your current temporary status expire. Now, your family members, like your spouse or your child above the age of 18, can also apply at any time. You can also apply at any given time, provided you are on maintained status or you're eligible to restore your status. Now, the checklist of documents for open work permit for those who are married and for those who are not. So just go through it. You need to submit the copy of your fee receipt. You need to pay Canadian dollar 155 through credit card or PayPal. That's sorry, credit card or debit card. So no PayPal. Then you have to submit the all pages of your passports. Then you have to provide the proof that you were allowed to work when you apply for permanent residence, your proof of language, your application forms. I'm going to explain step by step today, and then your marriage certificate, your digital photo, and birth certificates. In case if you're married, then you have to provide spouse information and your proof of upfront medical exam, travel documents, digital photo, proof of upfront medical exam, again for your spouse. Now, as I mentioned, you need to have IRC secure account, so you need to sign in GC key. uh, so when you sign in there, it's going to ask you your personal reference number, so you can say no, and you have to go through these questions. To cut short the time period, I have already jotted down here. So what would you like to do in Canada? Work. How long are you planning to stay in Canada? Temporarily, more than 6 months. And then select the code that matches one to your passport. So you have to select India and follow the instructions. I'm not going to talk each and every question, otherwise it will take 1 hour to complete this video since we have a lot to cover here. Now scroll down the page. You have to. So I'm going to focus majorly on the questions where people would get stuck. What is your current immigration status in Canada? So even if you're a student, you have to put worker. Does one of the following apply to you? You have to select I'm applying for an open work permit under an active public policy or pilot program announced by IRCC. You don't have to specifically mark here. You just simply say yes here. Are you a spouse? So I'll be as a principal applicant filling it up. No. Are you a spouse or a dependent of a person who is a military personnel or a participants? Then I'm saying no. Then what is your marital status? So married. What is your province of destination? I'm choosing Alberta since I'm in Calgary. Are you accompanying or family members who has a status in Canada? So I'm filling up the basic questions here. When does your status in Canada expire? So I'll be putting the date like November 30th, 2021. So in next 4 months time period, and or you can the maintained you have to be on maintained status. That's not a mandatory requirement that it has to be by default for. Have you have any medical exam? So you have to follow the instructions. You have to put it accordingly. I'm scrolling it down slowly, so in case if you're stuck anywhere, just write down the answer. Then just scroll it down, and you have to put the information according to the guidelines over here. Now, this is the question you have to keep in mind. Then there are fees associated with the family members. Yes, I'll be paying my family members' application fees. And then this is the question. There are fees associated with this application. Will you be paying your fees or are you fee exempt? So you have to say no. I'm exempt from paying fees for this application. Although you will be paying $155. However, you will not be paying $100 fee, that is for open work permit holder fee. Okay, and then you click on continue. When you click on that, it's going to ask you like use your account, save your application, upload your documents. Your form must be in electronic format. You do not need to sign, so just follow the instructions out there. Scroll it down, then pay your fees, and then click on continue. You can pay your payment through credit card or debit card. They accept Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and certain prepaid credit cards also. Click on continue there, and then it should take you to this main page, and then you have to follow the checklist here. So now this is the application form. The first one, it has to be filled from the personal principal applicant perspective, that is 5710, and then you have to click on upload. So when you click on that, you have to save it on your desktop wherever you have. Then you have to provide the passport copy, use of a family member representative. Now these forms I'm going to talk about in detail once I'm done with the checklist. Marriage license, like marriage certificate, digital photo, proof of your upfront medical exam, proof of fee exemption. Now make sure that you use one file for each document. For example, if you're asked to provide the multiple pages of your passport, so you must scan and save all pages in one file. Just keep that in mind. And then same goes, these are the optional documents. Then is for the family, those who are married, they have to fill IMM 1295. I'm going to explain step by step because there are some nitty gritties associated with a few columns. So I'll be making sure that you don't go wrong because that is very important. Otherwise, it's going to jeopardize your application. And then your passport, purpose of travel, digital photo, proof of upfront medical exam. And then again, this is optional. And then you have to pay the fee. Again, this $100 has not to be paid. So it's also mentioned here, the fee shown is an estimate based on the fees in effect on the day this personal reference code is issued. So this would vary. So and then that's how you have to go through it. Now let's quickly dive into question part. So this is the form: application to change conditions, extend my stay, or you know remain in Canada as a worker. So you have to put the UCI number. I want service in English. So under this question number 3, I'm applying for one of the following. So you have to mention this: restore my status as a worker, and then you choose the apply for a work permit with same employer, or apply for a work permit for the first time or with a new employer. You have to by default select this: restore my status as a worker. Then you put your name, like principal applicant. Have you ever used nickname? This is similar to generic application form. Then I'm choosing my gender, date of birth, place of birth, citizenship, current country of territory of residence. Again, you have to choose in question number 7. Like current country, I'm choosing Canada. Status, you don't have to put anything else except select other. It's mentioned on the guidelines also. And then in other, you have to put requires restoration. I'll walk you through what exactly it's mentioned out there. And then previous country of residence, in case if your stays in last 5 years anyway, just put that information in. Make sure you have to provide the police clearance certificate at the later stage if it's asked. uh, then is your current marital status, married, and then scroll it down, the basic questions, right? Then have you previously been married, languages, passport number, national identity, use PR card. Again, are you a lawful permanent resident of United States? So I'm choosing no. And then scroll it down, keep doing it. Then the basic information. So here we go. When you go in coming into Canada, date and place of your original entry to Canada, you have to put that information, the original purpose for coming to Canada. So you can always select work or study or whatsoever it was, you can choose that. Then date and place of most recent entry, and then details of intended work in Canada. So I'm choosing open work permit, name of employer, and you have to, now this is a question you have to keep in mind. So under details of intended work in Canada, question number 4, my occupation in Canada will be TR, PR, pathway, PP, 0 WP. That's what you have to mention. And brief description of duties, you have to put the like workers in Canada, essential non-healthcare, or whatever the you know, if you were in international students or workers in international students, you have to select the brief description of duties has to be the category you have applied under, TR to PR. So you have to apply under one of these categories. That's important. And then duration of expected employment. So under this, make sure that you enter the date you would like to start, date, and you can ask for a date no later than December 31st 2022, also not beyond the expiry of your passport. Just keep that in mind. And then just scroll it down. Have you ever been used a like certificate under PNP? So I've selected no. Scroll on the page, you put your education and employment, and like from the time period, field, and everything. So I have selected like, have you had any post-secondary education? So that's the reason they're asking me. In case if I so no, this would just grayed out. And then employment, you have to give, start with the latest what you are associated with, and then go with the previous experience, step by step. And then background, so it's like, within the past 2 years, have you or your family member ever had tuberculosis of the lungs and all that? So I've selected no, no, no over here, and so goes on. So I'm scrolling it out slowly so you will get the idea on it. And that's how you have to just put the signature, date, and then validate the form. Now, in case you are married, you definitely have to select this application form for work permit made outside of Canada, UCI number, I want service. So there are a few things you have to keep in mind. Same question number 7, you have to put other requires restoration, in case if you are trying to restore your status of work permit. And in case if you're not, you can just follow the simple guidelines here. And these are the, again, basic questions, native language and everything. So the thing I really want you to focus on, after putting the same, it's more like a replica of what we just filled up from principal applicant point of view. Now here, details of intended work in Canada. Question number 5, question number 4, my occupation in Canada will be job title, TR, PR, pathway, PP, OWP. So brief description of duties would be UCI number of your principal applicant. Just keep in mind you have to put the principal applicant UCI number over here, and then the rest information would remain the same what it is there. And what I've just explained, click in no, no everywhere, and uh, then scroll it down, and you have to just follow it, and then click on validate. It will be done. Now if you're married, definitely you have to use of a family member representative for online application. So you have to fill up this form. So this form is for family members who wish to apply online together in one my CIC submission. So to do so, all members must complete this form. So if you appoint a family member as a representative, that person will be authorized to conduct business on your behalf and receive information on your case file. So if you're a principal applicant, definitely you have to fill up this form, like full name, write the name, full name and date of birth of the family member to be appointed as a representative. So for say, if I'm the principal applicant and my spouse has selected me as a representative, I'm going to put my name and then information on the family member. So there would be husband and the relationship and my child, and then granting permission of the family member representative. Each family member is 18 years or not, so they have to fill this information, and then declaration of family member, and that's how it works. And same goes for the spouse. This is the form I've just talked about. Again, spouse has to fill this family information form. So this type of application, again, worker I'm selecting here, complete all names in English and in on your native language. Again, it's not mandatory to put the native language. So before you start, read the instructions guide, type or print in black ink. Then is the name of the applicant, relationship, then date of birth, present address will accompany you to Canada, and all that information. So just follow the instructions out there, and you will be able to put the name and signature over here at the bottom, and you should be good to go. Now, once you're done with this, then definitely you have to go back to this form section and then click on upload. So you can just simply click on upload file, and when you click on that, it will take you to the icon where you can select the information from. Now, once you're through, just do it step by step for all the for all the files. Then passport again, upload the information, and then marriage license, digital photo, and towards the bottom it will be done. And yeah, so this is how you actually can do it. And now sometimes people do have confusion, like in case if the documents are too large to upload. So it's again, instructions are given out there. You can recreate the PDF with the Adobe Distiller. So just make sure that you lower the size of a file and ensure that all the images has to be in PDF format. And for those who still struggling with that, so these are the guidelines on temporary public policies I have already covered for you who can apply. You must be in Canada, and your application for TR to PR has to be there in queue. You cannot apply out of the way like I'm student, I'm just kind of applying. I cannot. I need to apply under any of these following categories. So international students or healthcare or non-healthcare or French category. You need to show your work experience also, like the authorization that yes, you're allowed to work, then language requirements, and then your when you apply for your work permit, you have to give the supporting documents also. Now the things I have already explained, that you need to have a scanner or a camera, a valid credit card and a debit card. Then you have to pay your fees. You're exempt from paying the open work permit holder fee, that Canadian dollar 100. Don't pay this fee. So as I mentioned during the form, you must pay the work permit processing fee, Canadian dollar 155. So this is how it has to be done. Again, it has to be submitted through online account, and these are the things I have already covered. Go to the start your application, apply to come to Canada. I do not have a personal reference code. Then click visitor visa, student visa, or work permit, and on to the next page, select the work. I have already explained you, and these are the things I have already covered, that I'm applying for an open work permit, things like that. And these are the instructions I have already covered, that what you have to do from applicant perspective, what would be the duration of expected employment in the form. And in case if you are filling up the form for the spouse, like instead of putting the name of the principal applicant stream in the brief of description, it's like brief description of duties, you must enter the unique client identifier, UCI, of the principal applicant. And then you have to upload the correct documents over here. Just follow the instructions, and I have already covered that, and you're good to go. In case if you're not subscribed to my channel, please do that, because this helps me a lot and keep me motivated, and I can, this calls for a lot of time, so I'll try to cover as much as I can. So I hope this has been a great help. For those who are still waiting for the TR to PR, I'll be covering up with a new video shortly in a day or two, and I'll update you more onto it. Till then, take care, stay safe, and bye.